Well, congratulations to me for being a human
Yeah.
being with flaws. So my calendar was double booked and there's no link in it. And all of a sudden I get a call from Andrew, a call from Wendy, and I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like in another group call that I normally stay on for the first 30 minutes and then drop off. So look, I can't apologize. I'm not going to come up with some sort of fictitious statement to share with you. So I will make this all up to you and then ask me anything bonus session. So Andrew, please create an extra session for everyone next week, ideally on Thursday, and you can come with any of your questions. Thank you. So this is an actual Ask Me Anything session. And, I've found from doing the one yesterday, these are the most helpful sessions, right? Because look, real estate is a business that's, there's clouds and the dirt, right? There are people that want to live in the clouds, I say, in real estate and look down on real estate and be like, this is how you should do your business. But there's this whole world we live in called reality. This is not a theoretical business. And I always say this, if you've never sold real estate and worked with buyers and sellers, it's like somebody that's been sober their whole life talking to alcoholics and drug addicts. Like it doesn't make sense to them, right? Like hate to use that extreme analogy, but so these Ask Me Anything sessions are geared for you to share what's going on now, right? And as long as you don't pick these super unique situations that are better for like an individual conversation, that adds value to everybody, because the one question that somebody asks is the same thing that 30 other people are thinking. So what are your biggest challenges that you're having with buyers today?
I'm not actually having any challenges with buyers. They are listening. Thank you for all your advice on wording. But they are listening. My personal fear is I am having people pay so much over asking that I'm not sure I want to be in business if anything ever happens in 5 years. But there's a lot more cash coming to the table. And they are going, I just wrote up 15% over asking these poor first-time home buyers. Parents are giving them the cash so they don't have to go for a mortgage, no home inspections, nothing. And I know the neighborhood's really not worth that money, but what are you going to do? They love it. I'm having more problems getting listed. That's my issue.
It's funny, Margie, when I think of calling somebody, I always think of calling on you because one, I love her Boston accent. So look, someone also pointed out that in my flaws here is that this is supposed to be on winning multiple offers. So the bonus session will be, Andrew, make the session 45 minutes so that we could do it on multiple offers, as well as just like an extra 15-minute Q&A. So we'll do a makeup session for everyone next week to kind of just make up for this. And if you have any of these like individual questions, just in this case, email me. And I want to make this all right for you. So this should have never happened this way today. So my apologies. And look, like when you start thinking about things, there's things that you can control and things you can't control, right? And, when you have all these markets where people are paying this much money, you just need to let them know that these are record prices, but there is no sign in the world that shows that there's going to be any more inventory coming on in any kind of surplus, right? So when you start looking at this, it's that this challenge in the housing market of how many homes there are is never going to change. So there's certain factors that I want to just highlight that people really don't commonly talk about. For the majority of your real estate career, pre-2020, how many investors eventually would take those rental properties they have and sell them? Raise your hand, a good amount, right? Like you'd see these things eventually come on market. All of those investors that owned homes, you will never, ever, ever see these homes on the market. You want to know why? Because they equity stripped all their homes. What does that mean? If you had a 5.5%, 6% mortgage, you can literally keep your payment the same. Where a lot of these people went anywhere, I would find the ones that I knew and clients between $200 and $500 a month of profit, and they literally refinanced, kept their payment around the same thing, or made it go down a little bit, and took all the equity out of their house and cash out refis. So those are gone. You have institutional investors like BlackRock that are buying up properties and all of these other things. Those properties aren't coming on the market, right? You have people with low interest rates that don't want to move. You have people that bought with certain things that normally would move, but now there's no options for them to move. So people are moving like, Robert has like, I think it was like the 5D, like with death, divorce, marriage, babies, whatever those things were. Those are what's driving people to move. But that shrinks that pool of people to a finite amount. So for people who are thinking about listing, you just have to keep going with the equity analysis, right? Be a person of value. Now, who else has challenges with buyers, or would someone like me to give you like kind of like a high level on multiple offers? High level on multiple offers? All right, cool. This doesn't really take that long. I'll walk through a template that we have. This thing has like a 90% plus success rate. So who wants to be a person I get to ask questions to today? Let me see. Who am I going to pick? Diplomas, that, yep. All right, let me find, Christine in Chicago. Come on down.
Sorry, go ahead. Sorry, I
So
just got a text. My daughter's high school went on lockdown. What in the world?
So, all right, so you're not the right person for
I'm
this.
not
You
the
should
right
focus.
person. Sorry.
No, okay. We're going to go to Mary in Lake Geneva.
Okay, I am going
Perfect.
I'm going to switch to go to another room because I'm just out in the office, but I can hear
You're
you.
in an office. There's a win. So check this out. You're selling your house, right? How long have you lived in your home?
20 years.
Does it have any sentimental value to you?
Surprisingly, not, I've always thought myself as professional. And when we were on the journey to sell our house, it became very emotional.
Okay, just that's it. That's all. That's the part I wanted to hear. The majority of humans, one of the two people, if it's a dual household, has a sentimental value to the home. Yes or no? Raise your hand. Okay. The second point, if you're selling your house, how comfortable do you feel where you get a name on a piece of paper, a letter from a stranger saying that they can afford to buy your house that you don't know, and sometimes from banks that you never heard of, and no information about the people at all? Is there any kind of security in even knowing these people, their offer, their financials? Yes or no? No, of course not. Now, here's the next thing. What most offers look like are, I'll offer you $1.1 million for your house, close in 45 days, mortgage and inspection contingency or due diligence period of this. I'm pre-approved by ABC Origin Point Loans. And here's my attorney. Do you know what that's called? Positional bartering. You have now taken something that has a high sentimental emotional value to somebody and had taken a fixed position. Positional bartering is the worst form of negotiation. How much comfort do they have? None. You don't want to take a fixed position. Now, I know love letters and all these things are not allowed, which is another stupid rule. Like, people should be able to share what they love about the house. But look, in the end of the day, with the offer, and check my precursor to this is check with your sales manager if this is allowed. I would be encouraging you to write letters on what you connect with in the house, right? So how well maintained is your house, Mary?
Probably like a 9 or 10.
So you've really taken the time to go through all the details to make this meticulous, keep it up in time, and people walk into your house and can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So I would, if I was writing you a letter, I would say, Mary, I just want to first and foremost just start out by saying it is very clear how much you cared about the home, love for the home, in all the meticulous details and care that you have put into the home. And I'd highlight some of those things. When I notice this and this and this, and I would say, and so when you're considering for this home, I just want you to know that I will put the same thought and care into something that you preserved for the last 20 years. Thank you for considering our offer. That there's no way that can start talking about any of these fair housing issues. And my name is John, and I have a dog, and I have a kid, something like that, right?
Right.
People like people that are like themselves. There's a behavioral psychology to all this, right?
That's
Then
smart.
I try to do some smart things. Well, besides reading my calendar today, so it's life. It happens, right? I'm human. I admit it. I'll own it, and I'll make it up. So we say it's like, when things life happen, it's what you do after that really counts. Now, the next thing that you want to highlight in your buyer is who they are. My name is Chirag. I'm I would say that, my name is Chirag. My partner's name is Tiffany. Like, I've worked at Goldman Sachs for the last 22 years. I have an approximate salary of this much money, and this is my credit score. And then I'd say the same thing about my partner. Then I would provide my qualifications, and I would say, and in the letter that the realtor writes, I would write, please I want you to feel comfortable with our financial situation, and I understand that we're complete strangers to you. So I've given my mortgage banker full authority to disclose any of our financial details for the matter of feeling comfortable with the financials of this closing going through. This is their personal self. Feel free to contact them at any time. Is that a very different experience?
Chirag, I'll just pipe in for 1 second. You're spot on with everything you're saying. However, here, we can't even write those letters anymore. So what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to tell them how great this buyer is. And sometimes I feel like it might be, I've been in business, I've done this buyer, yada, yada, yada. Sometimes when I wrote one this morning,
You can disclose their financial details and their credit
yep,
scores.
I do that.
How
Yep,
long they
did
work.
all that, proof all that. But I said, is she going to get intimidated when I told her I've been a realtor for 41 years and I bring all my transactions to the closing table? I mean, I did put that in there, but I'm thinking, because everybody knows more than you do, and everybody's the smartest person in the world. So here I am thinking, does she really need this? I know us normal people might not be, but that was my fear this morning.
So
But
look, another thing is
we can't write that letter.
You can, I could say one of the things, as an agent, I could say one of the things that my buyer appreciated most about the home was this, and this, right? Like, maybe they can't write that. There are ways to do all this, right? So the other thing is, and I hate to dump new technology on you, you all need to get an Adobe account, right? Because here's one thing I can tell you. If you don't have an Adobe account and you put this as 5 attachments, they're going to download the 1 attachment. They're only going to send that. The second thing is when you present buyers this way, you start to get clients on the other side. You'd be surprised. Wow, look at how detail-oriented Margie is. And we have a whole template that does this. Right? And in the template, it'll say, Margie, thank you for answering all of our questions and allowing us to present our offer. Do you know when someone reads that, what they think subconsciously? They think they're in control. Allowing me. Thank you, Cherish, for allowing me to be here with you today. We understand that you're a buyer, that your seller wants a smooth and easy closing, buyers with excellent financials, and you list all the things out that they want, right? So when somebody's looking at this, they're like, oh yeah, I want that. You're literally walking them through. You know how the MedC walks everyone through what you want them? This is the same process. Let's see what Veronica has to say. Yeah. DocuSign works too. Go ahead, Mary.
I think what I like about your approach is you're kind of scooting around all those different laws we have, so we're not impress uponing our seller to pick a certain type of buyer. You are facilitating their emotional needs. They're all thinking that. And when I like your approach because looking at those contracts can be
All right.
overwhelming, but you've kind of addressed some of those curiosity points in people
All right, so
without,
let me give you a case study. Yeah. Andrew, can you enable my screen sharing? It's been an interesting day. I'm not a host. I can't share my screen. This just goes to show you I'm one bad Zoom meeting away from not having a business. It's kind of scary. All right, so check this out. So I use this template. I have a financial planner who's a great family friend. They're in the Ameriprise Hall of Fame, right? So like, and his father was, my dad was one of his original clients. And every time this guy wants to buy a house, he can't ever find a house that no one wants. The first time we did this, his dad's like, you have to get this house. A contract was being signed on Saturday. We went there on Thursday afternoon. I figured out a way to get it done. Then in the beginning of the pandemic, he wanted to see a house and I tried to refer it. And he's like, his dad called me up. He's like, you value our relationship? He goes, yes. He goes, then you understand why you have to go bring my son to this house. I'm like, okay, no problem. So it was another house, multiple offers and everything else. So we put a cover letter in. Thank you for allowing my client to present our offer and answering all of our questions. And when you start asking questions, you want to call them like, look, we're both, I just want to say, like, I would say to you, Mary, I'm like, we're both aligned. Like, I want to get my client a home. You want to get your client the best price, right? What else outside of price is important to your client? Is it terms? Is it moving? Is it rent back? Like, what is it? And you want to be able to find out these details. So look at this. You want buyers with the smooth that buyers want, that your clients want, smooth and easy closing, buyers with excellent financials, reasonable market price, nothing to sell. Buyers, jobs, down payment, pre-approved by credit score. You can put a little personal note in there. They had a letter, they wrote a dog because they're dog people and we could still write letters. So here's what I did in the actual offer. You have to highlight things, right? 1350, $50,000 above asking. 20%, the full 270 at contract signing. Closing at seller's request, inspection, and mortgage contingency not based on continued employment, because this is when everyone was losing their job, but he worked for himself. So pretty much it's a nice way of saying even if he loses a job, he can't qualify for the mortgage contingency. It's just really based on the appraisal. Then we put a note here. Buyer understands sellers are making a move with their family and can accommodate their ideal time frame. Buyers don't want sellers to feel rushed or pressured during this process of moving. Buyers can perform quickly if that is what's best for the seller, or they can have everything completed and ready to close when the seller is ready. Buyers willing to include a 70% mortgage contingency to make the offer stronger. They'll put another 10% down if necessary. We built this into the contract that if the house didn't appraise, they could pay the difference, right? By removing, and we highlighted this here, by removing a continued employment as part of the mortgage contingency, that only requires a satisfactory appraisal for the bank. Again, I don't want to leave anything up to chance. Feel free to contact our lender with any questions if you'd like. Then I wrote the agent a cover letter too, right? Thank you for taking the time to answer all of our questions and providing us with all the information necessary to make an offer. The buyer sought out every detail that would make the seller transition easier, from the full down payment, a mortgage contingency of 70%, security of not including continuous employment as part of a mortgage contingency, which was a big thing at this point, and offer 50% above asking. These all reflect their love for the home and seriousness in providing a simple and stress-free transaction for all parties. Based on this, their offer is contingent upon not going into a highest and best situation. They feel they've presented the terms that would make any seller secure during these challenging times. We hope to have the opportunity to work with you and see this through to the end. We all view this as a collaboration, and if there are any questions, concerns, or requests, we have an open line of communication. The buyers have spoken to their lender and feel free to contact them with any questions. They have a combined income of 450 plus thousand, adequate cash reserves, and will have no issues closing on this home. And guess what? The home did not go into multiple offers. And that was the last buyer I represented in a home in my life.
I have a similar template that I used, and I have to say every single time I've presented an offer representing the buyer, I've always gotten a call from the listing agent thanking me for presenting such a complete offer, whether my client received, had their offer accepted or not. But that ended up always building rapport with the listing agent.
Yeah. And by the way, there is a residual effect to this, that when you bring buyers in the future, they're like, you know what, Veronica has great buyers and she really does her due diligence. So like if she's presenting an offer, there's a high problem. Remember, the listing agents want to get deals to the closing offer.
Absolutely.
And that's their
That's
value.
exactly what it has worked out for me that way a few times, where maybe not that offer was accepted, but in another opportunity where it's the same listing agent, I've already have that built-in relationship, and my clients were able to have their offer accepted that time, and it wasn't even the highest offer.
Yep. This thing works really well. So Andrew, can you find our latest multiple offer template and stick it with this call? Let me work through the details of the bonus call. And I probably spoke out of turn without looking at my calendar, but we'll get it in for next week. And we'll go through this in more detail, right? We'll kind of make it interactive where we could actually fill one of these out together and that we could all ask questions. Just by implementing this, by the way, has anyone taken the time with you to share with you our strategy on writing winning offers in a competitive market? And this is how you get buyer agreements signed, right? Because you actually have a process on making an offer. We'd say there are 4 or 5 distinct factors that every seller wants to know in a home. Let me ask you a question. If you're selling your home and then you go through the whole thing, there's a whole frame, there's a whole question, and there's a whole process. But we have people, it's on our list, Cherish, to go through and watch all of these transcripts and pull them all out. Well, when we do the memoir, we should write in special dedication to Cherish Hope for presenting us with this great idea. So, all right, everyone, I would love in my heart, I love you all. Andrew will upload this with the recording. So please, thank you again for writing me an email. I made you guys wait, a message. I made you all wait 10 minutes. You're all very patient. And look, I truly, when I say I have love in my heart, I love you all, I really mean that every day. The only thing I really care about is, yes, I love it that you're all here, but I care that you really use this stuff and this makes an impact in your life, right? Like that's what this is all about. It's like trying to make these things as easy for you to do and use and have the direct benefit of it. So the more you dive into this, the more you use it, the easier your life should get, because everything is based on a predictable schedule. We can control what we can control. So I will see you all soon. Make sure to tune into Wendy's session and then the lead generation session on Thursday. And if you have not, make sure to sign up for the fireside chat next week that I'm moderating with Robert Refkin and Matt Spangler. If you're new here, marketing center that you use every day, Matt Build. The Compass brand, Matt Build. It is, for me, it's like an out-of-body experience watching 2 of my real estate heroes being able to moderate a panel. And Matt's marketing course on branding and marketing is the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've gone through the whole outline, and like, if that's what you're focused on, it's something I would really consider. And if not, just join the informational center, informational session, and you'll learn something from him and Robert. And if you're in the tri-state area and you want to attend in person, just shoot me an email and I'll make sure you're on the list before it all packs out. I will see you all soon. Bye, everybody. There's a link to sign up in the chat right here, and we'll leave it open.